house from was very nice and very easy to deal with, and we've remained friends. So I saw him a few months ago, and he said he was on Obamacare, and he's pretty much retired and everything. And he told me that he was paying $900 a month for Obamacare. And this year it was going up to $1,300.
Yeah.
And I had no clue
Yeah.
as to what was going on.
About
So,
50%
yes.
increase. Yeah.
Yep. And $900, I mean, I'm upset
already a
because
lot, yeah.
I'm on Medicare and my premiums, I finally decided to go with a supplemental plan. And believe me, it is no joy to be looking forward to your senior years of being, it's not what everybody thinks, oh, you're on Medicare,
Yeah.
you know, and it'll only get worse if this continues. But $900 a month, I mean, there's nothing wrong with my seller, you know, my friend.
Yep.
He is just a normal guy who,
Right.
you know, and he has a what do you call it, a residence as in Texas, which he's very smart about these. He was a financial advisor, I believe. So he picked a state that he had a contact with that would be one of the least expensive states, because that's another thing that, you know, your healthcare premiums are based on your zip
state.
code.
Yep.
So, so if he was paying $900 last year and going up to $1,300, I mean, who could afford this?
Yeah, I have been very fortunate just being an entrepreneur. You know, there's some plans that, you know, work very well for those that are paying themselves, you know,
Yes.
next to nothing. So there are some, you know, positive side effects, you know, but at the end of the day, I think it would be cheaper for everyone, including myself, or just as affordable for myself to go get, you know, healthcare procedures done, or even just go to doctor's, you know, appointments if it were privatized. But then again, for, you know, broken bones, cancer treatments, like I don't want people to be going into medical debt, right? You know,
Right.
And like medical bankruptcy. Like
It's horrendous.
I think we're, you know, if it was well managed, right? But like, you know, just we live in a prosperous society, you know, by and large here in America that,
Yes.
you know, I think if it were properly managed, there should be no reason why anyone goes into medical bankruptcy, you know, or, you know, financial bankruptcy due to
Right.
medical expenses. However, you know, I don't think really any other country has a better system. You know, a lot of people like to talk about, you know, public healthcare in the way that some of the European countries have it, or even you go up to Canada, and, you know, they have their same, you know, problems, you know, different, but, you know, just as big of issues as far as waiting times, not the same
Yes.
level of care oftentimes. And so I don't think we, you know, adopt systems like they have, but, you know, having it where there's a baseline, you know, public health care. And then if you want, you know, better care, you know, you can pay out of
Like
pocket.
concierge
Yeah.
care, right.
And it doesn't even have to be but yeah.
Well, it
yeah.
does sound like a fancy word,
Right.
but all it really means is you.
Right.
I mean, the thing that this year I made a shift in the way I chose what Medicare offered me as choices. I had been pretty happy with what I was, you know, carrying before, but also the older you get, you know, you not so much that you necessarily get ill, but they won't take you. You know, I
Yep.
mean, there are plans that will take you, but they're not. And so the Advantage plan, which, you know, I don't know how much of your audience are familiar with those things, but they basically, you know, they accept anybody. And there's no premiums for most of them monthly, but there's co-pays.
Yep.
And also the way our system works is you can have